Hey folks, recently I've been thinking that the more I manifest Breath of the Wild 2 news coming soon, the more likely it is to happen. Together, let's manifest. Leave a comment down below manifesting news coming very soon. Anyway, to keep adding to my Breath of the Wild 2 pre-release playlist, let's talk about the speculative topic on my mind today, the life of the sky. What and or who is up here? We've seen this dragon inspired thing, but that's it so far, and it doesn't appear to be a living and breathing creature, more of a robot slash magic being, I guess. Let's speculate and predict about the life up here. I'll be happy if I can get one or two things correct in the final game. Be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in to get featured right here. And also be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out. And let's get into this one. I'll note once more, and only once more, that this is purely speculation and ideas. With that, the first form of life that I think could be up here is the Wind Tribe. If you're a Minish Cap fan like myself, then I'm sure you'll remember this tribe. They are a tribe who mastered the wind. For years they lived on the ground at the wind ruins, but over time gained mastery over the wind. Following this, they left the ruins in mysterious fashion and headed for the sky, creating their new home, the Palace of Winds, within the cloud tops. It's a solid enough basis to start from. These are ancient islands in the sky, with no residents that we know of yet. This game from way back when in the timeline shows us a tribe that moved to the cloud tops and lived on floating settlements. It could be a cool opportunity to take from the devs. I personally would like to see this group explored and developed more. A more than perfect setting for that to happen is present. It's just a matter of if. Maybe they could help Link gain some mastery over the wind as well if they are present, teach him the ways of life and getting around up in the clouds. And if the game is going back to an ancient time in terms of when Breath of the Wild takes place, perhaps that could be as far back as the Wind Tribe freshly been up here. It's possible and a good opportunity in my opinion to expand on a rather untouched group from the series, as well as giving Link some valuable knowledge about his new surroundings. It's a win-win. Continuing the theme of ancient beings from past games, how about the Yoka? The little bird creatures from Twilight Princess that inhabited the city in the sky. While some fans think that they're creepy, I personally like them and find them charming. The Yoka are cute little quirky birds. What's not to love? They're also nice to Link and help him out, but most importantly in terms of this video, they're residents of the sky. Now I'm not saying that the city itself is up here, but the Yoka, or ancestors of them, could be for sure. Who knows, maybe they'll make a little cameo in some way. Maybe they'll even assist Link similarly to how they did in Twilight Princess. They're a fitting creature for these islands, especially with them themselves being ancient and special in their own right. Another idea of mine is more monks. Not necessarily Shiga monks, but definitely ancient monks of some kind. The whole vibe and architecture of these islands feels very fitting to be the home of ancient monks or some kind of ancient people, especially within these little pods or whatever you'd like to call them. This idea is solely based on vibes from the setting, and that if we are travelling into an ancient time, as many are speculating to be the case, ancient monks that watch over these islands would be pretty cool. Yeah, it wouldn't be too original as we literally just had ancient monks within the Sheikah shrines, but I wouldn't mind more being up here, perhaps playing a different role, more of a guidance role, opposed to creating challenges for the hero. Something that would be really cool in this idea is that when all of the monks from Breath of the Wild vanished following their trial, this is where they come to. There are many different ways this general idea could go, I just think that it'd be pretty cool to see. You know what else would be pretty cool to see? The descendants of Skyloft. Probably the least likely thought I'll be discussing in this video, but you know, I gotta put it out there. Some fans have mentioned the idea of the ruins of Skyloft being somewhere amongst these islands. To build on top of that fan idea, which is awesome by the way, why not have some descendants still living on the island? It'd be such a cool callback to the beginning of the series chronologically speaking, and pretty damn emotional too. To add on to the Skyloft ruins and descendants idea, how about Loftwings roaming these areas of the sky? The magnificent birds haven't been seen since Skyward Sword, and we rarely hear about them as well. Despite on paper sounding like a fan's wild dream, I wouldn't actually say that this is unlikely. Now I'm not saying they'll be there to ride and soar through the sky like they once were, but maybe just appearing as a little Easter egg and touch to fill the sky with life. That'd be cool. Maybe through an amiibo or a post-game reward, similar to the Master Psycho Zero, maybe we could get to ride one at the end of the game. I'd prefer that part of this idea as a post-game reward though, so everybody can experience it, but who knows how that would turn out if this happens. The next speculative idea of mine that I'd like to discuss is kinda a general mush together of a few things. I'd expect to see birds up here. Pretty standard idea, right? But also general bird-like enemies. This would range from hostile birds to full-on flying enemies such as Air Alphos. If you're a regular viewer, then you'll know I would kill to see the Air Alphos return in the sequel. I've mentioned this a few times now on the channel. They're such a cool enemy and definitely deserve an appearance in the sequel, particularly in the sky. As well as those flying friends and foes, let's chuck the Minish up here. You know, those tiny peeps from the Minish Cap? They were, for a time being, planned for Breath of the Wild. Let's work them back in and now have them living on these sky islands. I'm a Minish Cap fanboy. Can you blame me for that suggestion? No. One last idea that I'd like to discuss is spirits. Whilst not necessarily a living, breathing creature, the idea of spiritual beings being up here fascinates me. A lot of my speculative ideas in this video are based on vibes and vibes alone. Another vibe that these islands give me are spiritual vibes. From the dragon thing and its green energy, to the green energy of the hand, this glowing orb, the peaceful floating Zen islands, and even the luminous stones down here which we know have spiritual connections. There's definitely something spiritual going on in this game and in the sky, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are spiritual beings up here, maybe somehow connected to the most well-known spiritual being of Zelda, Fi themselves. But like everything in this video, we just have to wait and see. At the time of uploading this video, excitement amongst the Zelda community is building, as we are all awaiting an announcement for a September Nintendo Direct, with the hope of the sequel being present. Nothing is confirmed as of yet, but let's continue to manifest and hope. The game is due to release in less than 1 year. It still has no official name, nor set release date. They both need to come sometime soon, and if they come, a trailer comes with. Let's hope for a direct in the coming days, or shortly after Splatoon 3 releases. That is all for today's episode of yet more sequel speculation. Let me know your thoughts down below on what/who you think is up here giving the Sky Islands life, down below in the comments. Be sure to drop a wee like down below if you enjoyed, and also consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content. Both would make my day. Follow my socials linked below to keep up to date, and as always, a huge, massive, amazing shout out goes to all of my channel supporters. Thanks a ton. Your support really helps me to make these videos week in, week out, all month long, 365 days a year. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining, then consider supporting via the links below. Again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.